Hey y'all, welcome to Terry's Yarn Tales. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite things that I like to do with leftover scrap yarn, and that is to cover glasses or vases, things that I have in my house that I'm not particularly fond of the color anymore, or I just want to change it up. I have glass vases that are in shelves in my living room, and you can't really see them because they're glass and the shelves that I have in there are dark. So oftentimes I will get leftover scraps of yarn, or if I have a specialty piece of yarn, I'll mix it with another and I'll crochet them into long chains, and then I will hot glue them to my vases or cups to give them a new look and to kind of recycle so that they're not all ending up in a landfill somewhere. This is a very easy project. It's very beginner friendly. It's a great way to use up your scraps, and I hope that you'll join me today to enjoy it, or even just to give it a try. Come on, let's get started. Some of the things you'll need today to do this project are any vases or glasses that you have in your home that you're not happy with and that you would like to cover up with any scrap yarn that you have. I have this big vase here, or it's a hurricane candle holder or something like that. Anyway, I have used it for a long time to store corks in, and I put them in my shelves, but I realized even after I put the corks in there, I can't really even see them because the glass is just doesn't have any color, and you just end up looking, the corks are so, beige looking that you end up not being able to see through them. So I've decided that I'm going to cover this up today with some yarn that I have, scrap yarn that I have. I also have this vase, which may look familiar to some of you, but it came from one of those edibles things, and you can see I have corks inside of it already. But I'm not real fond of this purple. It's a beautiful purple, but it just doesn't really go with any of the things that are in the decor in my living room now. So even if I were to end up putting a plant or something in this, it's just not a great color. It doesn't go with what I have. So you'll need a couple of those. You'll also need hooks to match your yarn, or you can, use larger hooks if you're using two pieces of yarn together. I just pulled out a little bit of yarn that I have sitting here, and you can see some of them are threes. This is a three. This is a three. These are size 4. And then you'll need some glue sticks. And of course, you'll need a hot glue gun as well. Okay. And then I always have my little paper plate that I set my hot glue gun on because it's just easier to catch those drips so they don't get all over anything. And then I just begin crocheting this long loop of yarn. Now, my ideas for this one is for this to go around the bottom of here. So I'm not really worried if I don't have enough. I may use it to just cover a portion, not the whole thing. And then I'll put some of my other colors on to the jar, and I will just start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my glue gun, my trusty glue gun, and I have it setting on my plate here, so all of my drips will go onto my plate. I decided to go with this gray and green yarn that I had left over. I kind of like the way that it looks. I have some grays in my living room, along with some other sea colors, and I wanted to get some of that in this yarn. So I started off, as you can see here, I just did a long chain of these two yarns together, and it kind of creates this like mottled look, which I like. The way that you stick this on is you use your glue gun to start, and let me see if I can move it in here a little bit closer. Let's see if I can move it in here just a little bit closer. And you take your crocheted chain, and you actually will start to, I prefer to lay it on the flat side. So this side right here where you have all of your flat chains, which is the opposite side of where that hump is the part that I will hot glue down onto whatever vessel I'm covering with the yarn. So in this particular case, I have done this with several rows, and I just will go along and put some glue down and then put the yarn down. On the bottom, you want to be careful that you don't go past this lip right here. You want to make sure you don't go past this lip right here so that your vessel will still stand sturdy once you start filling it up with stuff. You don't want it rocking around. So you want to make sure that you stay off this bottom part and you go right along the edge. That takes a little bit of effort to really do, but I don't think it's that much, harder. Once you get started, it's pretty simple to follow along, okay? So what I did here was, or what I'm going to show you here is how I will actually put the glue on here. So this is my hot glue. I'm going to put it right along the edge. And I try not to do too much at a time, but I'm going to put it right along the edge here, and I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to lay this flat piece down, and I'm going to push it into place. And you kind of don't want to put too long of a strip of hot glue because you want to have time to like push it down into place. And this is thick enough that if I'm pushing it down with my fingers, the hot glue is not rising up and getting all over my fingers or causing, a burn. In this particular case, I'm coming right around to the edge where I want to stop. So when I get to this edge where I want to stop, what I'll do is I will pull my yarn out close to this edge, or I'll pull my yarn, pull the loops out close to the edge here where I'm going to stop. And let's see, I'm thinking probably about right there. So I'm going to pull my yarn out to about right here. Well, maybe one more. All right. And then what I'll do is I will cut these like this. And then I will pull this through just like you would if you were finishing a stitch on anything else. I'll just pull those through. And that will, be my nice tight end there. And then I will continue to glue right up to here. And lay this flat on top. And again, I'm pushing it with my thumb. This yarn is thick enough that it's not really worried about burning myself. And if I get little pieces, like I noticed this little piece right here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but this little piece right here of glue that's on there, you can oftentimes just pull on it and it'll come right off. Okay. And then I have this tail. You can clip this tail if you choose to. I usually will leave a little bit on there, and then I'll just hot glue over the top of it and put my next one down. Now, I did not want to do this all the way up because I found this really cool, if you can see here, I found this really cool kind of rope stuff. And so what I did was I went ahead and took up this piece and I crocheted it all the way to the end. And then I pulled this off in a knot. So I kind of pre-did this piece, and my intention is to put this piece around here. So it has that kind of, not too, I don't know, modern look. It's got a little bit more rustic kind of look to it. So what I'll do with this is I will take this piece here that I was telling you about, and I will cut it off. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take this piece here and I am going to glue it a little bit farther along here before I cut it off. So I'm just going to, and that way I can hold on to the tails a little bit so they stay in place, and so I don't burn myself. So I'm going to hold these in place, push them down a little bit right there. I'm actually pushing them down with the back of my nail here so I don't burn myself. And then I'm going to, whoop, sorry about that. Then I'm going to just cut them off. So you don't even really notice that they're there. They're glued down. No big deal. And then that's where I will begin with my little rustic yarn piece here. So, or rope. So typically I would just go right on top of this piece here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on there. Not a huge amount, just a little bit, just to get me started. Flat side down, just to get me started. And then that's how it goes. I'll come up to my next piece here. And this stuff glues down pretty quickly. So once you get it in there, it glues down pretty quickly. So I'm going to go here again. I'm going to put some more hot glue. Again, not too much because you want to be able to get it down. And see how it just kind of lays. Once you get that flat part down on there, it just kind of sticks in place and you're good to go. What I love about this is that this really outside, this is really all of the back humps of a chain. So it's very interesting looking, and I just think it just adds a lot of interest when you use two colored yarns. They weave in and out of each other, so it just looks very interesting. And then when you're gluing down, of course, like this part here, those back humps just give all this texture and make it look really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and finish gluing this on, and I'll join back up with you when I start the next piece of yarn for the top of this project. So as you can see, I'm continuing on here with my chain. I would suggest that you chain out quite a long length so that you don't have to stop in between your hot gluing to chain out more. If you end up with more than you need, you can always pull it out. But I'm just doing, as you can see here, chain after chain stitch. I decided to continue on with the color that I currently have. I would like to possibly go, if you look at this here, possibly go up a little bit farther with this color before I start another color. So just kind of whatever you decide you want to do. This is really, just your own, artistic, feeling of how you like colors to be or how you think it's going to go. I just like to try different things. I do like the way that this came about on here. I think it looks really good. The texture, the difference in the texture, and just being able to see all that texture in the chain is just, I really like it. I think it's going to be really nice. It's just so much nicer than the plain glass. So again, go ahead and make your chain as long as you like. On this particular piece of glassware, I have this little lip right here. So I'm going to let this part of the glass show, and I am going to slip my first row in between this and this piece of glass here. I'm going to slip it right here into the middle so that it kind of gives it a interesting look. So it'll be kind of something like, I'll take the flat part and I'll slip it in right here like this. And then if you can see how that's going to go. And then I'll just continue to wind that around. I'm thinking up probably about to here. And then I will consider doing a chain of another set of colors or one color depending on how I want it to look. All right, so I'm going to keep on going with this chain because I have a feeling I'm going to need quite a bit more, and fortunately I do have enough here that I can continue on. So I'm going to continue with this chain and I will show you the results of what it looks like when I'm done. So as you can see, once you're done, wrapping them and gluing the yarn chain around the piece of glass vase that you're doing, or cup, or anything that you choose. It just looks so beautiful. It's all variegated, and you can put it on your shelf, and you can throw your corks in it, or you can put a flower arrangement in it, and you're just able to look at this beautiful variegated yarn. I think it's a great way to use scrap yarn, and if you do try this, if you'll take a picture and post it, I would love to see some of your ideas or some of the things that you may go back out and reconfigure to match your decor. I hope you'll give this project a try. If you do, please leave a picture of your finished project below. If you enjoyed this video and found it to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my creations and tutorials, hit the subscribe button. Click on the bell so that you'll know when I post my videos. Thanks so much for joining me today.